Good afternoon and welcome to the DFS Army YouTube channel. I am Razzle11 and you can find me on X at Razzle11Grinds. Going to take a look at some pitching for today, the 25th of July. It is a Friday. We do have a 13-game main slate ahead of us this evening. We do have a number of places dealing with some rain or potential rain, light rain. Just a lot to uncover. We're going to have to look more into it as the afternoon progresses. So for right now, I'm going to look at pitching as if every game is going to play fine. And then we can adjust as we hear more news in terms of delay possibilities and timing of some of these storms. There's always a chance that one of these storms bulks up a little bit and threatens games a little more. But they also could all fizzle out a little bit and we see zero delays across the board. But I thought I would point out the potential weather going on this evening. Let's jump in. 13-game slate. I will be looking at DraftKings as that is where a majority of my action is. If you do play in FanDuel, I'll cut my pool in half or so. Pricing isn't tight. You don't have to be as creative. It allows you to get the stacks you want with an upper tier-ish pitcher. With all that said, remember, this is a first look at the pitching options on the slate. Starting with the first game, Colorado-Baltimore. I will consider Dean Kramer. Probably going to end up on Kramer. The Rockies just traded away McMahon. Now, that probably takes away strikeout upside a little bit, but it does weaken the lineup from a power standpoint. 21 plus fantasy points in 4 of his last 5 starts. 2 of those being 29 plus. Really solid recent trends. Struggled with Atlanta, but that's fine. Not a huge K guy in general, but his numbers at home have been absolutely dynamite so far. So I'm going to have to be on Dean Kramer. Freeland, if he had more K upside, I might be interested just because left-handed pitchers against Baltimore, very solid spot to target, but his road numbers have been absolutely atrocious. Actually, it's home numbers this year. I was reading those backwards. With that said, it's still not an overly exciting spot, just because I'm not sure he has enough upside to get us there on a 13-game slate. His best start this season being 26 fantasy points. Just 2 starts in the 20s. Just 2 starts over 16 fantasy points to be exact. Just not somebody we should rely on a 13-game slate. Philly, New York. One of the weather spots, but a great spot for hitting. Will Warren did cross my mind a little bit just because Philadelphia can rack up some strikeouts. But with that said, I have no desire to take pitching in this game. Dodgers, Boston. Dodgers offense has struggled a little bit recently. Bello has had some big performances. Dominated a Yankees lineup that's been difficult, but still, just not sure I want to go there. Could he put up a pretty strong performance? Yes. But he's just not a huge K guy in general anyway, so I feel like maybe his upside is capped a little bit in this matchup, so I'm going to pass on Bello. Sheehan, it's a guy that's shown it in the minor leagues, hasn't really shown it consistently at the major league level. Just 55 and 65 pitches the last 2 appearances. He does get hit hard by left-handed bats. I expect Boston to be pretty left-hand heavy overall, so I'm just not going to get there for Sheehan in this spot. Tampa Bay, Cincinnati, a ballpark we like offense in. Littell's given up plenty of home runs, 24 of them to be exact. About 1.8 per 9, 1.7 roughly. Not the best of situations for him. 16 of those home runs have come on the road in 66 innings, which is about 2.2 per 9. So it's not the best spot to rely on Littell. Nick Martinez has had some pretty big performances, and then he's had some atrocious ones. I don't mind pitching against Tampa Bay when they're on the road. Martinez is a reverse splits guy. Tampa Bay is probably mostly left-handed, but still, I just don't think I need to rely on Nick Martinez on a 13-game slate. But I also wouldn't talk you out of him if he was like one of the last guys in your pool and you wanted to mix in, 8-9%. I think I could live with that. I just don't see myself going there. Next game, Barrios and Montero. Montero's one of those guys that I think is better than he actually is. I'm just not using him against a hotter Toronto team. Plus, Toronto just doesn't strike out. Barrios, somebody that I will utilize, was decent against Detroit the first time he faced them. There's plenty of K upside in this matchup. He has been better when on the road, even though his K numbers take a bit of a hit. I think there's just enough K upside in this matchup that I want to use Barrios. I don't want to go too heavy. Probably a 10 to 15% type play. We're going to jump over to the DS here. Curious to see what his projected ownership is as of right now. Under 6%, so yeah, 10-12% play. Certainly worth taking that shot, for me at least. San Diego, St. Louis, Pivetta, somebody I'm going to use. St. Louis doesn't strike out a whole lot, but 23 plus fantasy points in 5 straight starts, 6 of 7. He's just super strong overall. He's been able to avoid the home runs for the most part. He's been weaker on the road, but still, I like him. I'm not overly afraid of the St. Louis offense, even though they aren't a huge K squad. Other side, Mikolas, just never considering him on a 13-game slate. Cubs, White Sox, Shota Imanaga, one of the guys that probably going to be a little more popular, which I'm shocked to see him at sub 9%. I do realize that the White Sox have been swinging it a little better recently, but still, there's not the greatest offense. On the road, he's been phenomenal. His K numbers aren't very strong, and the White Sox, surprisingly, not a huge K matchup for him, but still, each of his last 2 starts have been phenomenal against the Yankees and Red Sox. I like the way he's throwing the baseball right now. Pretty soft matchup overall from an out standpoint. I want to utilize some Shota. I'm guessing people are getting off of him just because of the price tag. 9,900 does seem aggressive for a guy that doesn't have a huge ceiling, but somebody I'm going to utilize on this slate. Atlanta, Texas. Evaldi's been absolutely phenomenal this season. Atlanta does get Austin Riley back, but still, Evaldi's just been ridiculous. His overall numbers are phenomenal. 3 straight strong starts coming off an elite one. His numbers just across the board. Strikeouts are better when at home, where he's at this season. So I'm using Evaldi. I know on paper it's not the easiest of matchups, at least when you look at it, but realize that most of Atlanta has struggled for much of the season. Wentz, not somebody I want to use for Atlanta. The A's and Houston, both pitchers are guys that I considered when I first opened up the slate. I'm just not sure I'm going to get there. Obviously, Houston, very right-hand heavy against Springs. Not the greatest of spots for him. Can certainly surprise, but has given up 19 home runs on the season, so I'm just not excited to use him. Gusto's a guy that we have used a couple times, and he intrigues me a little bit just because the A's can strike out plenty. He put up 23 fantasy points against them the one time he started against them, but he hasn't thrown more than 16 pitches in an appearance in 2 weeks. So I wonder if he's more of the 60 to 70 pitch guy. I'm not really sure, but he's one of the guys that probably was more of a last man to be removed from my pool. It's right on that borderline. If we hear that he's going to throw 80 pitches or so, then he might sneak back in. But for now, he's on the outside looking in. Washington, Minnesota, a spot that I'm going to utilize both pitchers. Kenzie Gore got absolutely destroyed last time out against San Diego. I think that might push a couple people off of him. Sub 12% ownership. The overall Minnesota lineup's weak enough that I think Gore has plenty of upside. So I kind of like the idea of a bounce back spot. He allows a lot of base runners on the road, but his strikeout numbers skyrocket when pitching on the road, where he's at this evening. So I just love the upside. I'm willing to take on the volatility and play for one of those upside 25 to 30 fantasy point performances. On the other side, Zebby Matthews, the guy that has not broken 20 fantasy points in the start this season, coming off his first start off the IL, 77 pitches. He has thrown 94 in a game, but he's been in the 70s for 3 of his 5 starts. There's a lot of K upside in his arm, and the Washington lineup has been struggling recently, so I will be playing some Zebby Matthews. He actually might make my main team, as weird as that feels to say. Cleveland, Kansas City, just not really going to play Waka. I know Cleveland's so-so, but I feel like Waka's upside's kind of so-so. Wasn't very good against him the first time he faced him, even though he only allowed 1 run in 4 innings. A lot of walks, not many strikeouts. The other side, Gavin Williams coming off of an elite performance. He's been 27 plus in 2 out of his last 3 starts. Like, he's shown the upside that we believe that he's had for years. He was mediocre against Kansas City first time he faced them. He's been mediocre on the road, and he's more of a reverse splits guy. And Kansas City's lineup's I would say their 2 most dangerous hitters are right-handed, and then Michael Garcia might be the 4th, 5th dangerous. Like, Garcia's had a strong season. Like, you just have some strong right-handed bats that I feel like Gavin Williams might not show up the way that some people might be chasing him. I was a little shocked to see him at sub 5% owned. I thought he might be a little more popular. But he's somebody that I'm just not going to utilize on this slate. I'm going to look to play the fade route with Gavin Williams and hope that he comes back down to earth a little bit. Seattle, the Angels. Angels, I believe, haven't been striking out as much recently. And I mean, last 3, 9 per game, which is down. They're still the 2nd most strikeouts in baseball. But I feel like there's been some guys we've wanted to use for strikeout upside against them recently, and they just haven't racked up the strikeouts. Woo, coming off of a rough start against Houston, I think he's in line to have a pretty strong performance. It's not as strong on the road, but he's still a very strong option for us. Should be one of the more popular guys on the slate at over 23% as of right now. So I'm definitely on the Woo train. Soriano's one of those guys that I just don't know what to do with. His home numbers are absolutely atrocious where he's at this evening. I think he's going to carry a little bit of ownership. I feel like I saw it earlier. Yeah, a little over 10%. I don't think I'm playing Soriano. I have been using pitching against Seattle recently, and there's K upside, but I think I'm going to pass on Soriano in this spot. Last game on the night in San Francisco, a ballpark that I love using pitching in, and we are going to utilize pitching in it again. Logan Webb, somewhat difficult matchup. Hasn't looked good the last couple starts, but he is back home where he's much stronger, and he loves pitching in this ballpark. Mets' overall offense has kind of stalled out a little bit recently, so I think Logan Webb is certainly worth the roster. Right now we have him as the highest owned pitcher on the slate, which kind of sucks. On the other side, Clay Holmes. It's a guy that I've been off of for a while now, but I think I am going to utilize him tonight. Hopefully that he pitches to this ballpark, finds his way into some easier innings, but I might remove him just because I hate the idea of playing Clay Holmes, and it's strictly me playing him because of this ballpark and hoping that he picks up some clean innings. His K upside has kind of disappeared, but there we have it. There's our first look at pitching. If you enjoy what I bring to you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on, get the alert anytime we drop videos here at DFS Army. If you want to join us, get access to our coaches, tools, sheets, Discord, etc. I'll put links in the description below. You can use promo code RAZ, that's R-A-Z, for 10% off monthly. And we still have the merch store open. Pick up my sweatshirt. Links will be in the description below as well. And as always, best of luck, everybody.